Okay, Bijan, it's live now. You can
Okay,
start.
thank you. A very good evening to all friends who are here with us today at the 16th Tivlani Weekly Talk Series. Today we have Dr. Dokatchi C.S. Marak as the invited speaker among us. So before we begin today's talk, let me introduce Dr. Marak. Dr. Marak is an assistant professor to the Department of Garo at Northeastern Hill University, Tura campus. Dr. Marak got her master degree in Garo as well as in linguistics, and she received her PhD degree from Garo, Garo Department, Nihu Tura campus on the title Dialects of Garo and Explanatory Study. So Dr. Marak has took part in different national and international seminars, symposia, workshops, etc. And she has conducted seminars, refresher courses, and orientation program as well. She has written different numbers of articles in journals and book chapters in edited books also. And she is actively participating in the social activities and is also a member of different registered organizations like Archic Literature Society, Northeast Literary Forum, etc. So it is my pleasure to invite Dr. Marak to kindly deliver her talk. So over to you, Madam. So I'm sharing slide. Is that visible, Monali?
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay.
Yes, yes, it's visible.
Okay.
Thank you so much, sir, for your introduction and welcoming me to this program.
Seems her network is not stable.
Hello.
Yes,
Hello,
yes.
sir.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hello,
Please.
can you hear
Yes,
me?
please go ahead now.
Yes, yes, you're audible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much, sir and Dr. Monali, for inviting me to this weekly talk series. So today I'll be giving a very descriptive, it's a descriptive uh, uh, or a brief study on some of the varieties of the Garo language. So it's written there in this hello, sir, can you hear me? Hello, sir, can you hear me?
We can hear you, but your voice is not clear. Yeah.
What about, yeah, it's not coming on the screen also, sir.
Yeah, please speak something so that we can know whether it's better than the earlier one.
Okay, so first of all, I would like to thank
Yes,
Sir and Dr. Monali for inviting me to this program at our weekly talk series. And today I'll be speaking on language laws, a brief study on some of the varieties of the Garo language. And first of all, I would like to welcome all the participants, those who are here in this program. So let me start with my talk. Like many other species of the world, human languages too is in the states of endangerment. So is it audible, sir?
yes, yeah. Please go ahead.
Sir, is it audible?
Yeah,
okay.
You are audible.
Okay, so okay, then let me continue. So K. David Harrison in his book, when languages die, the extinction of the world's languages and the erosion of human knowledge use the terms endangered language, language loss, language death, language shifts. He used these terms, and this shows how smaller languages are crowded by bigger languages. So according to the ethnodoc languages of the world, there are 6,909 languages in the world, and out of this, almost 3,000 languages are dying. So when we look at the context of India, then we know that Paul M. Lewis has enlisted, or he has listed 7 Indian languages on the list of endangerment, and you can see here on the screen. Sir, next slide, please. Sir, next slide. So these are the 7 languages, as you can see from the screen. Pusikwar, which is spoken in the Andaman Islands, then Kamyang, which is spoken in the Tinsukia district of Assam, then Nagarchal, which is spoken in Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Maharashtra, and Rajasthan. And we have the Nepalese Ruga language of the Garo Hills of Meghalaya, then Ulatan, which is spoken in Kerala, and Urali. So out of these 7 listed languages, we have 3 languages which are from the northeastern states. And when we look at these languages, then it reflects, next slide, sir. It reflects the vulnerability of the varieties or languages of the region. When we say why it is vulnerable, because there are a large number of varieties, languages spoken by a small percentage of people having their own tradition, culture, and language. Next slide. So according to David Crystal, cultural assimilation is a prime reason for language loss. So a minority culture, as we have seen in the slide I have shown you before, that if we go back to the first slide, or I think the 4th slide, then you will see that there is vulnerability of the varieties, and they are vulnerable because there are a large number of varieties or languages spoken by a small percentage of people having their own tradition, culture, as well as language. So it is because of the cultural assimilation that most of the languages are in different situations. They are in the stage of endangerment, or maybe a shift from the minor language to the dominant language. So a minority culture is always in danger of influence by the dominant culture, causing it to decline and eventually disappear. Okay, so since it adopts the behavior and attitudes of the dominant tradition. So according to David Crystal, there are 3 stages of cultural assimilation, and they are you can see from the slide: pressure, political pressure, social or economic. Then stage 2 is bilingualism, and stage 3 is bilingualism, semilingualism, or monolingualism. So next slide, sir. So in the stage 1, we have the pressure, political pressure, maybe social or economical pressure to speak the dominant language. That is, which comes under stage 1, which is given by David Crystal. And there is a pressure from the top.
Yeah, Dr. Marak, can you hear us?
Is it clear now?
Yeah, I think one of your device was
Tell me.
disconnected. Yeah, please go on.
Yeah. So yeah. So we have this when we look at the points given by David Crystal, and we have the three stages of cultural assimilation, and they are pressure, political pressure, maybe social or economic pressure from the government, or pressure from pressures within the society. Okay, so there may be certain laws which is introduced by the government to speak the dominant language. Then the second stage is the period of bilingualism, when a certain community or a society has been pressurized or introduced by the government to speak or use a certain variety for different purposes, then people become efficient in their new language. Suppose it is if a particular language other than your mother tongue or your native tongue, a certain language is introduced, then they have to learn that language and they become efficient in their new language. And of course, even if they use the new language also, they will retain competence in their old language, but they will become bilinguals. Then later on, this bilingualism starts to decline, with all language giving way to the new. So these are some of the points given by David Crystal. Then next slide, sir. Next slide. So the third stage, or the stage 3, is bilingualism, semilingualism, and monolingualism. I have written some of the points here in the slide. So when we look at the new generation of speakers, they will become more proficient in the new language instead of their mother tongue or the language they use in a group, in a community. They will be more proficient in the new language. Then they find their first language less relevant to their new needs. And there may be some kind of feeling of shame about using the old language on the part of the parents as well as their children. So in that way, in many cases, parents use the old language less and less to their children or in front of their children. So when more children come to be born within the society, the adults find fewer opportunities to use that language to them. So within a generation, sometimes within a decade, maybe, a healthy bilingualism within a family can slip into a self-conscious semilingualism, and then it will lead to a monolingualism, which places that language one step nearer to its extinction. So these are some of the points which I have taken from David Crystal. So before looking at the linguistic situation in Garo Hills, let me talk a bit about the Garo language. So the term Garo, I think it is not in the slide. So let me briefly tell you about the Garo language. So is it audible? So the term Garo stands for both tribe and the language. Garos prefer to call themselves artists, which means men. And Garo language is spoken in Garo Hills, some parts of Khas Hills in China. It is also spoken in different parts of Assam, Tripura, Nagai, and in the neighboring country Bangladesh. Then it's 7,000 according to the report 2007. Then we have Garos or Garo speakers in Bangladesh, and in the it's mentioned that there are more than 100 houses even in Bangladesh. And then according to the census of India, 2011, total population of the Garos in India is recorded to be 11,315. The Garo language, and they are the way which is spoken in North Garo Hills, Ambing or Abing spoken in West Garo Hills, Matabing and Matamchi in West Garo Hills, Machi or Machimal East Garo Hills, spoken East Garo Hills, Atong spoken in South Garo Hills, Ruga and Chibok, which is also spoken in South Garo Hills. Then we have Ranganton, which is spoken in South Garo Hills, and Wal, which is spoken in South as well as in West Garo Hills. Sir, is it audible or not?
You are audible, but the voice is not clear. We are not able to understand what you are talking. If you can change your position a bit so that we can check whether that new place is better than this one. Your voice is coming like breaking.
Hear me?
I think this is better now.
Okay. So if you don't hear any, no?
It's the same thing.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. It's better. Yeah, it's good.
Okay, so I was trying to a short description about the Garo language.
Okay.
I have already spoken, but let me, since there is fluctuation in the net, so let me briefly give a short introduction to the Garo language. Okay, sir, can you hear me now?
Yeah, please.
Okay, so this Garo language is spoken in Garo Hills, some parts of Khasi Hills, and in the state of Meghalaya. Then it is also spoken in different parts of Tripura, Assam, different parts of Assam, Tripura, Nagaland, and in the neighboring country, Bangladesh. Then the population has been mentioned in the ethnologue. So according to the ethnologue report, 2007, the total population of Garo in India is 7,80,000. So there are different varieties of the Garo language which is spoken in different parts of Garo Hills. Here I am speaking to the Garo variety in different parts of hills only. So we have spoken of Ambing, which is then Matabing and Matachi, in West Karo Hills. Then we have Atong, Dokatchi, so except the Atong and Ruga, the varieties are mutually intelligible to each other. Atong and Ruga the Koch and Rabba languages. Is one of the associate official languages of Malaya. Then the Garo language was first reduced to writing by the British officials and the American Baptist missionaries in the last decade century. The situation in Garo Hills. We have seen the different theories given by Crystal about language laws. So when we
Sorry to interrupt, Dr. Marak, but we are not able to hear you clearly. I think she got disconnected. So please bear with us. Dr. Marak is facing a low bandwidth issue. Yeah, she's with us. Yeah, Dr. Marak, can you hear me?
so yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
So when I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, now we can hear you, but before that, your voice was cracking, so we are not able to hear you clearly. Anyway, yeah, please go ahead with it.
Yeah, it's coming in the screen also. But I'm trying to figure out. Can you hear me?
Yeah, no, your voice is coming, but we are not able to understand what you are saying. So anyway, am I showing the right slide that you are talking, or?
The linguistic situation. Sir, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Please.
So when we look at linguistic
Okay.
situation in Garo Hills, then people situation to analyze it in terms of the cultural history, starting from the period of colonization. And what British rule in the nations, they have started to educate the people by establishing. So the imposition of the British rule and Garo Hills. Garo Hills started with the establishment of schools, then the foreign missionaries designated for the Garos for the outreach because the foreign missionaries for the outreach decided to select social, religious, and educational purposes. Then later on, religious we have to translate. The other varieties learn outweigh as the first language and English or Hindi as second language in schools. Then, because of colonization, we know that they have tried to establish schools in our hills, introduce our variety from official, religious, as well as educational. This type of introduction, or due to imperialism, Garo community, Garo people as a whole. when Awe has been used by the missionaries, when Awe has been introduced for different official purposes, speakers from other minor varieties have shifted from the standard variety to the other languages, or have shifted to the standard variety. So bilingual. For example, speakers or Ruga Chibok speakers have to learn the standard variety earmarked by the colonial masters for education or English. Either they have to learn the Awe variety or speakers, then naturally they are not competent in both the languages. They are not competent in both the languages. So cannot say that even if they are bilingual, even if become bilingual, for example, the Aben or the Ruga variety, even if they have to learn the standard variety,
Yeah,
they are not
sorry to interrupt,
in that
Dr.
language.
Dokatchi. Hello, Dr. Dokatchi, can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes.
Since there is frequency of fluctuation is, I think, really high, so we are not able to hear for a long, like 10-15 minutes what you are talking. We can hear you, but we are not able to understand what you are talking. So in case, as participants can see the slide, wherever you feel that you want to explain some more, just stop me there. I think that will be a good way, because we are not able to hear you very clearly. Is that okay with you? Or
Hello.
yeah, Dr. Marak, yes.
Hello.
Yeah,
Yes,
so
yes.
yeah, I was just saying, as we were not able to hear you very clearly what you are saying, so I will change the slide one by one. Whenever you want to stop me and where you want to explain some more, please stop me. Will that be okay with you?
Yeah, but it's not coming on the screen, no?
No,
Ask her to
It's not
connect
coming
it.
on the
Ask
screen.
her. Hello, Vijayan. Ask her to
yes.
share from her what you call mobile. If she has a mobile network, if she can share it from her mobile network, connect it through mobile connection, not from
No,
computer connection.
no, sir.
It is
Sharing
easy.
screen sharing is not a problem. I can. It is sharing from my end. I can change the slide. The thing
I'm
is,
talking
as
about
we
the
are not
internet
able to
connection.
hear him clearly.
No, what I'm saying is, whenever my audio is not clear, I connect it through my Airtel connection. So Airtel internet is faster than what you call departmental or some other Wi-Fi. Mobile connection, yeah, internet.
Okay, Dr. Marak, are you connecting from your laptop or from your mobile?
Okay.
Yeah, now this is better. Please, please
I'm
go on now.
connecting from my mobile.
Yeah, that's better. Yeah, please. Yes, this is good now. So,
Okay.
is this slide
Okay. So should I start from the linguistic situation?
I think from
So should I
next.
start from
Yeah,
the
from this.
linguistic situation
From
in Garo?
this slide, you please start from this slide. That one we have. Yeah, we have been seeing for a long time. So I think all the participants are well aware of that slide. Please start from this one. I think she got disconnected again.
Yeah, I
Okay,
think
then
she's
let
trying to
me.
connect again.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Let me start with the next slide then.
Okay. Yes.
So due to colonization, the community as a whole has lost the indigenous belief as well as cultural practices also, as you can see from the screen. And since the Awe variety has been used for different official purposes, the speakers from other varieties have to shift from their own variety to the standard variety or to the dominant variety, then later on these people become bilingual. That means Abeng, Ruga, Chibok speakers, they have to learn the standard variety as instructed by the colonial masters for education, or either English. Then even if they are bilingual, they are not competent in both the languages, since it is not their own mother tongue, or since it is not their own variety. So it is very difficult for them to learn even the standard variety, even if they are mutually intelligible to one another. And this problem happens mostly with the Atong or Ruga speakers, since Atong and Ruga are not mutually intelligible to Outway variety. So they face the problem in learning the standard variety, which is Outway, and they are not competent. They are not competent in Outway also. So that is the problem that they face. So we can say that it is not a healthy bilingualism. So according to Crystal, healthy bilingualism is a state in which two languages are seen as complementary. Two languages are seen as complementary. But in their case, in the case of the minority groups or those people who speak different varieties of Garo, their competency in the standard variety is not that much strong, as we can see, or as we can experience when the speakers or those who speak those varieties like Atong and Ruga, they have the problem in learning the standard variety also. Sir, can you move? Okay, so can we move on to the
Vision,
next
yeah.
slide?
Next slide, yeah.
So the problem here, okay, is it audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Is it audible?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So there is a threat even to the standard variety. Now, it is not only to the minor varieties of the Garo language or those varieties which are not standardized. Those varieties which face the problem, but there is a threat even to the standard variety. For new generation of speakers are inclining more towards the dominant language, that is English. When we look at the education system in Garo Hills, then we know that there are English medium schools are more than the Garo medium schools. Many schools, private schools, they have shifted. Of course, in the 90s or in the 80s, we have Garo medium schools, but nowadays, even those Garo medium schools have changed or shifted to the English medium schools. So the problem for other varieties is in learning the standard variety that is Outway. But for the Outway speakers or those who speak the standard variety, they also face the threat. They also face the threat because English is now becoming dominant in Garo Hills, mostly in the urban areas. So there is a threat because most of the new generation of speakers are moving or inclining more towards the dominant language. Then another point is the digital technology, its impact on languages. So when we look at the text messages used by the new generation of speakers, then instead of using the words, they are using some abbreviations, the emojis or the memes. Then this language has become expressively richer because of the internet. We know languages, most of the languages from all over the world has become expressively richer because of the internet, but some of the people misuse the language, as for instance, pronouncing the words differently, wrong spellings, etc. Even in case of Garo language also, we don't have phonemes like v and fa. But nowadays, when they are using these phonemes which are not there in the Garo. When we look at the Garo consonants, then we don't have these phonemes, but they are changing, they are shifting, they are using these phonemes also. Like ba, it should be ba, b. Instead of ba, they are using va. Then, or for fa, they are using fa, as in a fa. So, you know, frequently used, these phonemes are frequently used for texting messages by a group of people. So these phonemes are not there in all the Garo varieties, but some are using it knowingly, but it is affecting the may crop up in the Garo language. So these are the problems that we face in our society and in the community. Then let's go to the next slide. What is the solution? What is the solution, or how to maintain and promote the small language varieties? Number one, there is a need to develop a strong sense of ethnic identity within the endangered community. Need to develop a strong sense of ethnic identity. We know that every community, every language groups, whether they are minor groups or bigger groups, they have their own tradition, they have even their cultural practices have become endangered now. So we need to develop a strong sense of ethnic identity within the endangered community. Then the promotion of educational programs about the endangered language and culture, development of written literature, both traditional and new, and the creation and strengthening of the environments in which the language must be used. So these are some of the solutions which I have brought out here. And when we look at the language laws, then when we look at the minor languages or minor varieties like Ruga, then it is at the stage of extinction. I went to the Ruga village, I think in 1998, and that time I went with Professor Caroline R. Marak. At that time, we have only 3 speakers or 3, 60 plus, those who are 60 plus women. 3 of them try to communicate with one another, but they are also facing the problem. But the youngsters or the new generation of speakers, they don't use their language or the variety, the Ruga variety anymore. So we know the situation, this type of situation happens not only to the Ruga variety, but it is happening to the other varieties also. For example, we have the Chibok variety, which is spoken, which is in the same area, geographical area with the Ruga speakers. So even the Ruga, not only the Ruga, but even the Chibok is disappearing, or it is also in the stage of endangerment. And when we look at the other varieties also, like the Atong, as well as Garagantseng, or Matabeng, or Matchi, then we know most of these varieties, or the speakers who speak these varieties, are shifting to the standard, either to the standard language, standard variety, or to the English language. So we can see there is a language loss. So if there is a loss in language, then everything will be lost. We will lose our culture, our traditions, our practices. This group of people from the Ruga, those who are from the Ruga variety, or those who are speaking the Ruga variety, they have their own cultural practices. They have their own traditions. They have different types of, narrations oral narrations are there, songs are there, folk songs are there, but they are disappearing. Not only it happens not only to the Ruga variety, but it is happening to the other varieties as well. So that is what I want to highlight here today. So in conclusion, let me conclude my speech or my talk by saying that we should try, we should maintain, we should promote the small language varieties, because if we know that these languages have their own, they have their own grammatical system, they have their own morphological as well as phonological system. When we look at the Ruga lexical items, then we know that they are very much different from the standard variety that is our way. Madam Caroline has written a book on the Ruga language. Madam Caroline Marak, she has written a book on Ruga language. So if you go through that book, then you will find the differences, how it is different, what are their cultural practices, what are their, what are their songs, what are the main festivals that they observe. It is quite different from the Awe variety, or it is from quite different from the Awe group. And in case of Garagancheng also, even this Garagancheng is different from Awe. Their cultural practices are different from the Awe group, or the Awe, even their language is different. And they can be identified, or the speakers of Garagancheng variety can be identified from their intonation pattern. Their intonation pattern is really different from Awe. Just like even Atong also, when we look at the grammatical structures, features of Atong, the phonological features of Atong, then you will see lots of similarities as well as differences. So in that way, if we, so it is high time for every one of us to really need to develop, and we need to develop a written literature for these varieties also. So that's all. I think it's audible now, sir.
Yeah, it's really clear.
Sir, is it audible?
You are audible.
Okay. So these are some of the solutions. Hello, sir.
Yes. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
Yeah.
I can hear you.
Okay.
So I have given the solutions here. Of course, there are other solutions also. So we need to really develop a strong sense of ethnic identity, promotion of educational programs, as well as we have to develop a written literature. Of course, as a group, we are trying to work on these varieties, and even scholars are coming up in the department. So we are trying to we are trying to work on the languages which are still unwritten, which are still in their oral form. But when we look at these varieties, then we know that they are unique in their own ways. They have their own structures, they have their own features, they have their own lexical items, which are quite different from the other varieties, the written variety also. So that's also, thank you. I think I'm so sorry that there are lots of fluctuations during my sharing. So I'm so sorry, but thank you so much for giving me and for patiently waiting.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank
Hearing
you,
my
Dr.
talk.
Marak. Yeah,
Thank you.
we are very thankful to you also. And I'm very thankful to our participants also bearing with us, because there was some technical hiccups that is beyond our hands. Anyway, all goes well at the end. So now the session is open for discussion, question and answer. So the participants can unmute and they can ask directly to the Dr. Marak for any question query related to her presentation.
Can I ask one question?
Yes, please. Yes.
Vijay?
Yeah.
Very nice presentation. Even if there was internet connection problem, but still we could understand you based on your slides, also the points. My question is, are there any revitalization programs going for these dialects, these varieties of the Garo language? What is the current scenario? I just wanted to know.
Ma'am, I cannot hear you properly. Can you speak again? The question,
Oh,
the question is not clear.
Yeah. I want to know the current scenario of language revitalization or language literacy programs for these varieties that you have mentioned, which are highly, in that stage of critical endangerment and extinction. What kind of literacy programs are there, or is it still? Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for the question. Actually, till now, we don't have any such programs. We haven't organized any such programs, but the only thing that we are trying to do is documentation. I'm helping our students work on these varieties. So in that way, only we are trying to preserve the different varieties. As I have already told you that Marak has done a research on the Ruga language. She has documented a very clear description has been met by Madam. And other than that, we don't have any such programs like awareness programs to them also. So
I see. Okay. Thank you, Madam.
Yeah. Thank you for that question, Monali. And yeah, participants can, yes, please. So in between, when we are waiting for our participants to come up with their question and query, as Monali pointed out, yes, I'm also of the opinion that the language revitalization program should be initiated if the linguistic situation in Garo languages, in those varieties which Dr. Marak has pointed out, if the situation is reaches up to that, then I think the community people itself can start the language revitalization program itself. That I think that is the need of the hour to bridge with this kind of situations. So yeah, we invited our participants to speak with our speakers. I think, yeah, Pautang sir.
I don't have much question to ask because.
Sir, I cannot hear you.
Yeah, from both the sides, from my side and
hello,
from
sir.
your side.
Yeah.
There was.
But we can hear both of you.
No,
sir, I cannot hear you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Dr. Marak, we can hear both Dr. Pautang as well as you also.
Sir, I cannot hear you.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I cannot hear.
You cannot hear, but we are audible to you. We can hear you clearly. I think, sir, you're saying something, Sir Pautang?
You were asking me whether I have some question to ask her.
Yes,
I don't have question because most of the time my internet was also interrupted and her internet was also interrupted. Okay. So yes, anyway, the good point is that we could carry that presentation till the end, and we got something out of that presentation. So in that way, we are very thankful to you, madam. So from your presentation, it appears as though these languages have no what you call no language documentation. Wow! So descriptions are not there, language documentations are not there. So very few people are working on. In fact, no one is working, as you suggest, on the what do you call promotion, protection, and doing something for the language. So that seems missing from Ruga and other languages. So what you can do is you can initiate a team of your own and start collecting some of the most endangered aspect of the language or languages, such as the folk tale, folk story, then any other what you call agricultural items, cultural items. So you start documenting them, and then you can have a video recording, audio recording, and also a photographic recording of whatever is available. Because in case these languages get lost in due course of time, then at least we have some recording to retrieve those languages. So you can do it on your own or in combination or in collaboration with your colleagues at Garo at your department. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Anyway, so
Demalu, do you have a question?
yeah.
Demalu?
No, I don't have any question, madam. Thank you for good presentation.
Something. You are here. We are only four of us.
Yeah, yes, we are open for question. If you have anything to share with us, also you can share, Demalu. Not a direct question. Also, we welcome.
It's a good presentation.
Okay.
Marak, and any questions, sir? Thank you.
Okay, thank you,
Okay.
Demalu. Thank you very much. Do we have any more questions from the participants? Or any comments that you want to share?
Yeah, there are Garo participants also, if they want to say anything.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we do welcome all the participants. If they have anything to be share with us or any comments, observation, they can share. Yes, please feel free to speak. I do not know, but I think Devika Di Sangma, Angela, I think they are from Garo. Anyway, so that's fine.
I think no one is there, sir. But
Yeah.
let me,
Sure.
tell you. Let me tell you. Even Sir Pautang has spoken about the documentation. We are trying to document the different varieties, and we work with the People's Linguistic Survey of India also. I think long time back into 2013. So we have I think varieties of to collect, to record, as well as to document those varieties in different fields of linguistics, like either in phonology or morphology or syntax. So we are trying in that way. But of course, for revitalization, we need to work on it, and even we need to aware. Also, we have to organize awareness programs. People, I'll be informing my department about these things, and surely we will work on it. Thank you.
Yeah, that's really good to know. Yeah, I think, yeah, is it a comment or something? Someone wrote, Angela, I think, yeah. Perhaps we should encourage our scholars to go into research on the endangered languages. Anyway, thank you very much for that comment. Yeah, Uncle Mosel is just joining now.
Maybe they're also facing the same problem. I don't know why
maybe.
it was so fluctuating
Mhm.
today.
Yeah, it seems
Because
to
for
be.
the last 1 week, I was hosting the refresher course
Okay.
organized by English and Garo department, but I don't face this problem. Okay, whole
Okay.
day also the network is okay, but today I don't know what is happening.
Yeah, it happens sometimes.
But I think the
Sorry.
points which I have given is clear. Sir, I think the points which I have given is clear, right?
Yes, yes, yes. We can. Yeah, it was
What I
very
have
clear.
discussed. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Anyway, Uncle Moshel, we are almost at the end part of today's talk. If you want to ask anything to the speaker, or if you have something to share, then you can speak, because I think we should give a chance, because you were at the beginning of today's session, and I think in between you lost your connection also. Now you're joining.
No, I don't have any connections, but because of that fluctuating network of Madam
Okay.
speaker,
Okay.
I just logged out myself, and
Okay,
I'm
Uncle.
just coming in to check in whether it is over or not.
Yeah, after a while, the network of Dr. Marak was better. It was restored. So at the end part, all was going well. Anyway, if there is no any question, query, or any suggestion or comments from the participants, then I would like to, I think no one is coming. So I would like to request Dr. Monali to kindly propose vote of thanks.
Thank you to our moderator for today's session, Dr. Bijan, for the smooth conduct of the session. In spite of the technical problem, everything has been managed very well. And a very huge thank you to our speaker, Dr. Dokatchi Marak, for her very interesting talk on the Garo varieties spoken in Meghalaya. It's very interesting to know that even if Garo has has a huge number of speakers, and it is one of the highest number of Bodo Garo speaking communities in India and Bangladesh, covering all of that. Still, it still needs so much of documentation. There's still so much of revitalization to do. There's still so much of research required from research scholars to do, and you have opened the doorway for research, and which is very encouraging, and we appreciate you on behalf of Tiblani for sharing your experiences of the current trends in the Garo language. So thank you, madam, once again. And thank you to all the participants for being a part of today's enlightening discussion. And thank you also to all other participants who have given their suggestions and comments and also dropped questions. Thank you once again.
Yeah, so thank you very much.
And good night.
So much.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry for the
Thank you, madam.
disturbances.
Okay.
So Monali, do you have a talk?
Okay,
today?
thank you so much.
Is there any talk?
Yeah,
in
at
the center?
7:30.
Who are the speakers?
Yeah, 7:30.
Who are the speakers?
Shobhana Chilia and Kavita Rastogi.
Who will take the first turn? Subhara?
Shobhana Chilia.
Okay. Let's see her try to be there.
Yeah.
Okay, inshallah. Nice
Okay,
meeting you all.
Okay, pleasant evening to all.
Yeah.